outside now. The waterfall is looking beautiful. All right, I just finished the spider web cut. Look at that array coming off the barn. This whole area here is going to be for the ducks and mumbles. Everybody get in. Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're creating the duck enclosure. I forgot to do the intro to this video, so now I'm in a long sleeve and it's fall. But me and my dad were able to get the 12 posts set in around the perimeter of the duck enclosure. Now I'm going to come in and finish it up so I can get the ducks in there next video. Come on, puppy. It is raining outside now, so we are on halt on the fence. I got it down to where the gate's gonna be, so I went from the back gate to the front gate. Now I just have this last 16 feet to go, and then I have to make the gates. Come on, buddy. Chicken's bothering you, Boyle? You saying, Green Queen? Ducks don't mind the rain, do ya? Huh, Mumbles? The water station in there they've been using pretty well. They had to get used to it for a second, but hopefully it's trying to keep the water cleaner than it usually is. What you got going on, Turkey? Hey, piggies. How you doing, pigs? Yeah, you're all big, aren't you? You're all big pigs. Alright, we are out here in what is now fully enclosed duck enclosure, and it's looking big. I don't have the gates done, but I do have enough leftover wire that I can stretch it across to make a gate for this 6-foot gate up here. I still have to mount a post onto the barn there, so we'll have the post on either end that I can swing the gate from. But I have enough fencing here to close it off once I get the gate built. Also down here in the center of the front line, I have enough of this leftover fence. I don't have it secured yet, I just have it stretched across here. But there's enough here to stretch across the gate so I can mount one here. It'll be an 8-foot gate here. And way up in that corner, we'll have a 6-foot gate. The ducks will be living in here. Nice and secure latch. Open it up and it's nice and roomy in there. Plenty of ventilation up high. What do you think, pup? Up. Hopefully the door is big enough for Mumbles and the Pekin ducks. I made it 14 by 12. I am hoping that's big enough because Mumbles over there is getting bigger and bigger every day, and that door is starting to look small. There is a ton of grass and space out here for the ducks to forage and get around. I am worried about all the open sky. So what I'm thinking of doing, I was thinking of putting a central post and then stringing from that post to each of these fence posts, so I'd have some type of lines going across the top of here so it deter some of the hawks. And my dad suggested that since the barn's here, maybe mounting a 2x6 or something to the barn and then going from that point to each of the fence posts, creating a kind of a spider web effect. And it might be easier to attach a board to the barn than it would be to dig and set a central 30-foot post. So we might be going with that idea. You can kind of see how I have strings stretched across the turkeys and the ducks right now in the pens. So pretty much the same thing. I don't want to do a full bird netting because once the trees start dropping their leaves, that net's going to get covered and it's going to require some maintenance to keep up with keeping it all cleaned off. With this string method, there's really nothing holding it together. All the leaves should fall through. It's just supposed to break up the surface to where a hawk doesn't feel like it can get into that area and get the bird and be able to get out. Oh, puppy, it's looking good out here. This turkey wants some of this fresh grass.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
And that is all I can do for the duck enclosure today. So I'm down here by the pond to give a little update on the fish that we just put in. I have pulled out some of the goldfish and a couple of the minnows because they died off. I'm pretty sure that's just because they're feeder fish and they're not all that healthy. I think the water quality is actually pretty good. You can see many of them are surviving. And there's also plenty of other life in this pond. The frogs are laying eggs and the tadpoles are swimming around. There's a ton of pond snails in here all across all the stones. You can see all the sediment and algae sitting on the stone, and that is because the pond is becoming healthy. It's becoming a full ecosystem in this pond with the snails and the tadpoles. We are also having a bunch of larvae in here from the dragonflies and the damselflies. So they only can breed whenever the water has enough oxygen in it and it's clean enough. The waterfall is looking beautiful. It's not at the full flow that I want it to be. I want this side to actually flow a little bit stronger, but we don't have the right pump on here yet. So once we get the right pump, we'll be able to switch this one to the filter pump and put the larger pump on the waterfall, and we'll have adjustable flow at that point. But for now, this is keeping the water oxygenated and clean for all the fish and wildlife that's in here. Alright, I just finished the spider web that I have made over top of the duck pen. As you can see, I decided to go off the barn like my dad said it was a good idea. So I put an eye hook. It's hard to see the eye hook now, but I put an eye hook up in here and bolted it through this 2x4 and through to the other side, put a nut and a couple washers on it. So that should hold in place just fine. Then on each one of the fence posts, I added an eyelet that I could screw in and then I could tie the string to. So on each one of the posts, I have an attachment point. And from up here at the top of the barn, it looks pretty neat. Got all the strings going down to the post. Have a nice array of the strings. And hopefully the gaps aren't too big to where a hawk thinks it can come down in here and take one of the birds. Echo, here. Touch. 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 Puppy. So hold my ladder for me, buddy. Thanks, puppy. Good boy, good boy. So the ground wasn't real level here, so I had to do a makeshift leveler, and I think it worked out really well. I didn't fall, so I need a haircut. It did keep dropping the string whenever I was up there, and it kept falling down into this ragweed. And from working up here before, I know inside this ragweed, we have a bunch of giant spiders. If you saw my Instagram, you've seen this spider already. It's a yellow garden spider that I've identified. But we have a few of them up here. And they are big, so I didn't really want to mess with them. They're not venomous or poisonous, but I didn't really... But I really don't want to be messing with spiders, so trying to stay away from them. Look at that array coming off the barn. Got my audience over here on the side, all the turkey. They're getting a lot bigger now. You can see they're stretching out. Looking like a full-bodied turkey here. Yeah, what are you guys doing? Got the chickens outside getting some grass, gave them a little fence bubble. And then Mumbles and the ducks are out there waiting. So this whole area here is going to be for the ducks and Mumbles. Got the duck house. Hopefully they all fit in that door. And now we have the whole top covered to where hopefully that'll keep the hawks from taking my ducks during the day while I'm at work. Puppy. So I think it looks really nice. Got all the strings going across there, and I think the gaps are probably tight enough to where a hawk won't get in. I have the same thing across my other pens in front of the barn, but this one was a little bit more difficult since it's a bigger area. The pen's about 40 feet by 40 feet going up that hill. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of room here for the ducks and the goose. It's gonna be awesome. All I have left to do is put the main gate on the front, finish the gate up there. And then I do have plans on putting some type of watering hole in here, but that'll come a little bit later. Now the storm has been holding off. You can see all the dark clouds rolling down through there. The thunder's been going crazy while I've been out here working on the ladder. And before the rain does come, I want to get this ladder out of here, get everything cleaned up.